Is this about the dollar amount on Google? Because we wondered at the time why it seemed to be such a pittance relative to their revenue.
Well, look, we're not going to solve some of these problems just by small-time fines that aren't going to change the underlying business model of these firms. We actually have to take a hard look about whether these behemoths are killing off innovation and competition. If we look back to history, we see that antitrust action has incubated so much new economic activity, and that's our task right now, to get to the bottom of what we can do to fix some of these problems.
Well, then why did the commission argue so forcefully that it was some kind of record-setting fine?
Well, look, you're always going to see enforcers, beat their chests about big fines. But I think more and more of us across the country, including 50 state attorneys general, are now wondering, how do we actually fix the core problems for our economy when it comes to this sector?
Commissioner, with all of these companies under the microscope at once, Microsoft not one of them.
Paging Dr. Freud.
Right? Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, a lot of different business models in there, different issues, whether you're talking about data, whether you're talking about advertising, app stores. Does it weaken the case to changing any particular one that they're all in the frying pan at once?
Well, you're right. We've got to actually look at the whole thing comprehensively. And this is an all hands on deck moment. If we rewind 20 years ago, Microsoft there was a risk that Microsoft was going to own the internet. And you're right, now it's not just one firm. There are several firms that are raising lots of questions, and we've got to really focus on taking a comprehensive look and taking action where we need to.
Commissioner, just to confirm, is the FTC formally actually investigating Amazon now?
Well, I'm not going to comment on any individual investigation. The companies can disclose what they're being investigated on or if not. But look, the bottom line is that there are some serious questions about whether firms, some of the biggest firms in the world, are suppressing competition, or are they playing fair? And we have to act if we see that they're breaking the law.
I realize we're talking about a number of different potential companies, a number of different potential businesses within those companies, and that the FTC is itself looking to clarify its power to regulate big tech right now. But based on the laws that are actually on the books, how much power does the FTC actually have to take an antitrust tact on these different names and rein in what could be perceived as too much power in the marketplace?
A lot. Our antitrust laws are enforced by the FTC, the states, the Department of Justice. And when those investigations conclude that there is anti-competitive conduct, the courts can award divestitures. They can award significant remedies that really make sure that those business models are not choking off competition and innovation.
Commissioner, how do you handle the challenge that there are so many companies in the crosshairs, and you're talking antitrust? So you got Amazon now jumping into the advertising market with Facebook and with Google. Is that anti-competitive, or is it pro-competitive that they're doing that? You've got Google and Apple and Amazon all in the streaming media business. That would seem to suggest competition, especially when you've got Hollywood cleaning up selling content to them. Does that complicate things?
I think maybe you're asking the wrong question. I think the question is can new firms actually get in the game? Or are we just going to depend on 3 or 4 firms to fight it out with each other? The best part of the U.S. economy is when new ideas actually can enter and can challenge that dominance. When I talk to investors, a lot of the smartest investors are actually clamoring for some action here. When you talk to venture capital, they worry. We can't really fund some of the best ideas because we think it will just be stomped out by one of the big guys. We want to live in a country where the ideas can challenge that dominance and unseat it. And I think there's many people worrying about whether the structure of today's marketplace facilitates that.
Well, Commissioner, we're about to be interrupted by the first trade of Cloudflare, which has an indication 18 to 1850. Obviously, it's been a busy year so far for IPOs. I mean, there's an argument to be made that a lot of companies that have innovated and incubated and are now coming to market are the essence of new ideas, the ones that you think are being suppressed by the giants.
Well, it is great news when more firms are able to raise capital and more firms are able to challenge. But here's a distinction we got to make sometimes. A lot of firms are actually starting up purely for the purpose of hoping to exit not to the public markets, but to be acquired by one of those large firms.